you have seen that sticker. A television on a shelf, or a listing on your phone, and the word refurbished sitting right next to a price that looks too good to be true. A little voice says, "What is the catch?" Here is the catch. The same word that saves you $400 is the word that can cost you the whole set. It comes down to one thing, and almost nobody selling you that TV wants to say it out loud. So the real question is not whether refurbished is cheaper than new. The real question is who catches you when it breaks. We are going to rank every way you can buy a television this year, worst to best. Traps first. And at the end, I will name the exact one I would buy with my own money. Here is what is at stake, and I want you to feel it. You are buying one television. You are keeping it for 10 years. You are paying for it once. If you get this wrong, you do not get a warning. You get a black screen on a Tuesday night 3 years from now, and a repair bill, and the slow realization that you are buying a second TV. No brand is paying me to say any of this. And I will tell you now, so you can relax, the Smart Pick is almost never the most expensive one on the wall. Let me explain the one word first, because it decides everything that follows. Refurbished just means a television that was returned or repaired, then cleaned up and sold again. That is not the problem. The problem is that the word refurbished, all by itself, promises you nothing. What protects you is not the word, it is the warranty behind it. A warranty is simply a promise to fix it, in writing, for a set number of days. And there is one clue on every listing that tells you whether that promise is real. I will show you that clue before the end. Watch for it. Now, worst to best. Number 1 on our list, and the worst, is the refurbished TV from a no-name seller. This is a marketplace listing, or a page from a seller you have never heard of, and the word refurbished with a rock-bottom price and absolutely nobody standing behind it. What is genuinely good about it? The number. It is the cheapest thing you will ever see. That is the whole appeal, and it is a real appeal. But here is the mechanism. You cannot see who fixed it, or whether they fixed it, or whether they just wiped it down and shipped it. And what happens in a real home? It works for a while. Then, somewhere past the 60-day mark, a line appears across the screen, and you go looking for that promise to fix it, and there is nothing there. As is. That means you are the warranty now. Buy it if you enjoy gambling and the price is truly tiny and you can lose the money without pain. Skip it if this is the family television. Remember this one simply. No name, no promise, no thank you. And that right there is the feeling I want to name for you. That little sinking feeling of I almost fell for that. If you just felt it, do this for the next person. Tap the like button. Not for me. It teaches the app to show this warning to the next person standing in that store about to make that exact mistake. Subscribe if you want honest TV advice with no hype and no wasted money. And tell me one word in the comments. Refurbished. Yes or no? One word. I read every single one. Quick gut check before we keep going. Are you nodding along? Or are you thinking, fine, but my brother bought a refurbished TV and it is great? Hold that thought. He might be right. It depends entirely on where we land in this countdown. Keep going. Number 2 on our list is sneakier because it looks like a deal. This is the refurbished TV that is not actually cheaper. Here is what happens. You find a 2-year-old high-end OLED refurbished for a big-looking discount. OLED, by the way, just means a screen where every tiny dot makes its own light, which gives you deep, true blacks. Beautiful picture. And the listing screams 65% off. But look closer. That discount is measured against the original list price from 3 years ago. Meanwhile, a brand new set, this year's model, sits right next to it for nearly the same money, with a full new warranty. I watched exactly this happen with a well-known OLED. The refurbished one looked like a steal against its old sticker. It was not a steal. It was last year's dinner, reheated, priced like tonight's. The mechanism is a magic trick. The seller shows you a big old number so your eye never checks the small new one. Buy it only if the refurbished price beats a comparable new set by a real wide margin. Skip it if the discount is just distance from an ancient price. The lesson: a discount off a fantasy is not a discount. Number 3. Our last trap is the one that gets good, careful people. And it is the extended warranty they sell you at the register. Now this feels like the responsible choice. You are protecting your investment. Who could argue? But here is the arithmetic, and it is not mine. Consumer Reports, which takes no money from these stores, found that the average repair costs only about $26 more than the price of the plan itself. Read that again. You pay $130 to protect yourself against a repair that, on average, would have cost you about that same amount anyway. Most sets never break inside the window at all. The store pushes it because the profit on that little plan is enormous, often larger than the profit on the TV. Buy it if, and only if, you are buying a pricey old that is genuinely expensive to fix, and the plan costs less than a fifth of the TV. Skip it on anything mid-priced. Say it plainly, you are usually paying real money to insure against a cheap problem. Let me name what you might be feeling right now, because 2 objections are probably sitting in your chest. The first, so refurbished is a scam. No, stay with me, because the best value in this whole video is a refurbished one. The second, then I will just pay full price for new and be safe. Also, no. Paying full price is not the same as being protected, and I am about to show you the version of new that actually protects you and the version that just costs more. If that flips something in your head, tap like so the next person gets here too. And tell me one number. How many years do you want this TV to last? One number. I read them all. Here is the crossing. Everything above was a trap because you were paying for a promise that was not really there. Everything below is worth your money right now for one reason. Somebody real is standing behind it, in writing, for long enough to matter. That is the whole difference. Not new versus used. Protected versus alone. Number 4. And now we are into the good picks. Last year's new model on a genuine closeout. When this year's TVs arrive, last year's get marked down hard, and they are brand new, in the box, with the full new warranty. The picture difference between a 2025 set and a 2026 set is something you will notice in a store, under bright lights standing next to it. You will not notice it on your couch. Think of it like a brand new car from the previous model year. Same car, smaller price. The good models from TCL and Hisense do this constantly, and this ties straight back to our last video on budget TVs under $500, where new sets were so cheap that refurbished made no sense at all. Buy it if you want new and box safety without paying the this year tax. Skip it only if you truly need this year's exact newest feature, which for most living rooms, you do not. One line. Last year's new beats this year's hype. Before I give you the top 2, subscribe, because the next pick is the one nobody talks about, and right after this video I want to show you the 5 settings to change the day your TV arrives. Or it will look worse at home than it did in the store. That is coming. Meanwhile, tell me one number. What size are you shopping? 55, 65, or 75? One number. I read every one. Quick gut check. Still with me? Good. Because here is the payoff, and here is that clue I promised. On every refurbished listing, look for who services the warranty. If it says a real name, Allstate, Assurion, or the manufacturer itself, you are protected. If it says as is, or nothing at all, you are alone. That one word is the whole game. That is the clue. Which brings us to number 2, and this is the savings nobody tells you about. Certified Refurbished, from a program that restores a real warranty. Certified means it was professionally inspected, tested, and cleaned. And then, and this is the part that matters, wrapped in a fresh promise to fix it. eBay's Refurbished program gives you a full year backed by Allstate. Amazon's Renewed Premium gives you a full year. Walmart's Restored Premium gives you at least a year. Some of these sets arrive with the plastic film still on the stand. You save a large chunk off new, and you are covered for a year or more by a company whose whole job is paying that claim. A shopper I read about bought a high-end Sony this way and reported 0 problems, and said the store's service was excellent. That is not a fluke. That is what happens when the word certified is real. Buy it if you want the biggest honest savings and you check that warranty name first. Skip it if the listing hides who services the coverage, or if it is only a 30-day, as is deal wearing a nicer label. The one-liner, certified is refurbished with its promise put back in. And number 1, the one I would actually buy. For the person keeping a TV for 10 years who never wants to think about it again, a new current set from a store that backs it the longest. For my money, that is Costco. Not because it is fancy. Because a television bought there is covered for 2 full years instead of the usual one, the return window runs about 90 days instead of 30, and there is free tech support if you get stuck. You are not buying the flashiest screen. You are buying 2 years of not worrying, on top of a set you paid a fair new price for. That is what no wasted money actually looks like. It is comfort you can measure. Now let me argue with my own pick because I promised you honesty. Costco is not perfect. You have to pay to be a member, around $65 a year, so factor that in. Their selection is smaller, so you may not get the exact model you had your heart set on. And you might wait. If none of that suits you, a certified refurbished set with a real 1-year warranty is the smarter pure savings play. Full stop. And while we are being honest, I like Best Buy. But their register side protection plans are overpriced for what a mid-range TV actually needs. Buy the TV there if the deal is good. Skip the plan. Let me collapse this whole video into 2 piles you can hold in your head in the store. Pile 1, walk away, the no-name refurbished set with no warranty, the old refurbished set that is not really cheaper than new, and the extended warranty on a mid-priced TV. Pile 2, worth your money. Last year's new model on a real closeout. A certified refurbished set with a named 1-year warranty. And, my number 1, a new current set from a store like Costco that backs it for 2 years. Traps on the left, keepers on the right. Here is your 30-second check, and it needs no technical knowledge at all. Find the price. Then find who fixes it if it breaks, and for how long. If you cannot find a real name and at least 90 days, put it down and walk away. That is it. Price and the promise behind the price. If the promise is not written down with a real name on it, it is not a deal. It is a dare. 3 quick tips that cost you nothing. First, always search the exact model number before you buy, so you know the real new price and cannot be fooled by a fake discount. Second, buy right after new models launch, usually late winter into spring when last year's sets get cut the most. Third, screenshot the warranty terms the day you buy, because who fixes it, and until when is the only paperwork you will care about later. So here is the whole thing in one breath. The question was never new or refurbished. It was who catches you when it breaks. Find the name on the promise, and you have found your deal. Next time, I am showing you the 5 settings to change the minute your new TV is on the wall, because straight out of the box it is set up to sell itself in a bright store, not to look right in your home. Tell me your budget in the comments, just a number, and I will tell you exactly which of these to buy. 1 number. I read every single one.